within the country, out of the country, boundaries to humne banaye hai na. We've made the boundaries. So I'm okay. For me, the idea is, am I feeling happy? Am I feeling comfortable in my skin? Am I learning something through my journey of work? If I am, I don't need anybody else's approval. Nobody's. Alex Graves, who's directed Game of Thrones previously, comes up to me and says, "Was that good for you?" You're asking me if it was good for me. Why don't you tell me if it was good for you? And I can't even do this because my hands are like tied, right? I'm cuffed. So I'm like, why don't you tell me if it was good for you? Good for me. Both were good for me.
Hello everyone, welcome to PeepingMoon.com. I'm Rashida Sahani, and today joining me for a very interesting conversation is Kubbra, who has recently impressed all of us with her Hollywood debut, Foundation, on Apple TV. Hi Kubbra, how have you been?
I have been excellent. Thank you very, very much for asking. Yes, it's 4 weeks into the release of Foundation, and I'm glad that people are watching the show and enjoying the menace of Farah Kaim.
Great. And Kubbra, firstly, I was very interested to know when your Hollywood debut was announced. I think in 2019 it was announced, or 18.
2020 it was announced.
2020, but 19 we got those. Yeah, we got a lot of reports in 19, and finally in 2020 we got the confirmation. So what prompted you to venture into Hollywood?
Well, an audition. It's work. I've said this about even me working in Gully Boy. It's work. I would love to work, and I have always been inspired by work. Nothing else really drives me as much as the joy of having a good day at work. And when I'm done with that is when I'm like, I truthfully deserve this holiday, and everybody else can go home because I'm off. I'm in that situation right now where for the first for most part of 2020, people thought I was on a vacation. Like, oh, but you are on a vacation. And I was like, yes, if that's what you think it is, it is. But now that the show is out, it's like, this is what you were shooting for. And I'm like, yes, this is what I was shooting for. Yeah.
Okay. And it's, always a very big deal. Like even I started off saying that how Hollywood and why Hollywood, because it is a big deal when someone from India represents our cinema and goes out there, works. It's also a very proud moment, and I'm sure people have complimented you on that. Now, how do you feel when people say such good things about the work you have done?
I say thank you.
That's great. And has there ever been a stress on your shoulders of a pressure that now have done something good and big, now I have to continue doing that, because people sort of expect that from you?
I think good and big is all about perceptions, I don't want to be like, oh, what do you think I should do in my life? I don't ask people what I should eat for lunch or what I should eat for breakfast.
Of course.
So why should people tell me what I should be choosing as my next project, or who I should work with or who I shouldn't work with? For me, it's about trial and error. For me, it's about learning and growing. And if I'm getting the opportunity to learn and grow with people within the country, out of the country, boundaries to humne banaye hai na. We've made the boundaries. So I'm okay. For me, the idea is, am I feeling happy? Am I feeling comfortable in my skin? Am I learning something through my journey of work? If I am, I don't need anybody else's approval. Nobody's. It's my approval. I stand by my own decisions because I know the importance of taking a stand for your actions. That you can't be like, I'm going to do this and then run away when the consequences catch up with me.
Okay. And how was the shooting like now? I just before this interview, I was reading how you shot for it. It was reading it, I felt, wow, it's so hectic and it's so challenging. How was it for you?
It is tiring, but then every job is. If I had to
Yeah.
ask you to do this for 14 hours a day, even you would be tired. I think after 6 hours of interview, I'm tired after this as well. So I think that's just the human body giving up. But I think mentally, it was just one of the most surreal experiences because I think I got paid to go to school. You know,
Fantastic.
it was lovely. I enjoyed every moment because I was learning something new every moment.
Hmm.
Um, I remember this time when I did this scene, which is in episode 4, and it's the interrogation scene, and I finished it. And Alex Graves, who's directed Game of Thrones previously, comes up to me and says, "Was that good for you?" You're asking me if it was good for me. Why don't you tell me if it was good for you? And I can't even do this because my hands are like tied, right?
Yeah.
I'm cuffed. So I'm like, why don't you tell me if it was good for you? Good for me. Both were good for me. Then can we move on? I'm like, dude, you're the director. Please go ahead and do
Yeah.
whatever you want. You know? So I think there were several aha moments in that sense where I just looked at myself and went like, is this all happening to me right
Yeah.
now? And I'm so grateful for everything that's happening. So
Okay. And when foundation sort of came to you, what was that one part, or you can mention about anything else also, that made you the most interested in, doing it?
she was a character from not India. She was not a character from Earth. She was a character from a whole different planet.
Yeah.
And when I received the call for this audition, I didn't know it was for Foundation. I didn't know that it was like the Grand Huntress of War or the Grand Huntress of the Anacreons. I didn't know any of that. More importantly, I didn't know I had to go there and learn a new language. So literally every day was learning something new.
Yeah.
But just the opportunity to know that you're going to be a part of Apple TV Plus and you're going to be on a show, and I was the first Indian to be cast on it.
Yeah.
So I was like walking around like a peacock for like 3 days.
Great. You deserve it, actually. And also talking about now, whenever, we talk with actors either from South or internationally or Korean, there's this question that, is there any difference between that cinema and this cinema? Did you find any difference of that sort?
I think it's just the stories that we choose to tell, right? And the kind of stories that
Yeah.
at least I have been a part of are either biographical
Hmm.
or they are forward thinking stories. I've worked with some incredible people, as I mentioned earlier. I can never compare a Ted Lasso with a Foundation or a
Yeah,
morning show
definitely.
with, I don't know, any other show that you've watched recently.
Hmm.
But I do remember when Sacred Games came out, I was comparing it vehemently to Fauda. And today, Fauda is being made in India. So, in that sense, I'm like, that's excellent. You know, we're at least stepping up and telling stories. Like Paglet was such a great story.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't watched Rashmi Rocket, but I'm really excited about watching
Oh,
that.
I just watched it today. I reviewed it 5 months
Yeah,
back. Yeah, it's
amazing.
great. It's
So that's what
inspiring.
I'm saying, you know, like you've got such great people telling you
Yeah.
great stories back at home uh, that you can't keep complaining. If you want to complain, then everything is a problem. And if you don't want to
Yeah.
complain, then everything is a blessing. I like to live in the blessing part of it. You know, I've said this ample number of times over the years that people have interviewed me or spoken to me. I've said, I believe in gratitude. I have a gratitude jar.
Uh,
So the day I got the job, I wrote in my gratitude jar, sign foundation, and folded the chit and put it in my gratitude jar. And maybe like, a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, I'll go open that and find it when I'm having a bad day
yeah,
and be like, wow, I like this.
exactly. Okay, that's great. And the web space now is doing so great, as you mentioned, Rashmi Rocket, Paglet, everything released in the web space. And of course, it was the pandemic and a lot of other factors. But do you feel that the web now has the power to show stories and to highlight the talent of so many people who are involved, not only behind the camera, but also, the entire team, the cast, the crew, everyone.
Absolutely. The avenues have increased because the opportunities have increased.
Yeah.
And if you are good at what you do, then you won't be not recognized anymore. There's no format, so to speak. I mean, people are doing so well on social media today. People
Yeah.
have like content creation agencies on the side and they're creating content for social media. So tell me, where is the line? You know, like when I remember the Google ad had come out ages ago, we spoke about storytelling then. Like just today, I was listening to this interview, not interview, I was watching the new ad for the T20 World Cup.
Yeah. I watched it.
Yeah.
TV. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you have a camera and if you have a story to tell and you have a good performer who's going to tell your story through their body, um, then nothing can stop you. And whoever these people are, right, who say, oh, you're an OTT actor, you are film actor, you are TV actor, you are web actor. I don't think this holds any value because I'm an actor. Do you end up saying, ke, acha, you're a doctor, oh, so you are only this doctor, you're only that doctor? You know what I mean? Of course, you're a specialist,
Yeah.
but this is not a profession that specializes you in anything. Your job as an actor is to specialize in every character that you play, no matter where it is. So then just play it more truthfully and then let the people debate on the side.
Yeah. I feel it's also all about the story. Now, if a story is bad and it's released in theaters, I'm not going to praise it just because it was on the big screen. And if it's on web and it's excellent, I won't even care if, it's on web. Web is doing so good. So completely agreed with what you said.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's about what did that story do to me? Did it teach me something that I didn't know? Did it give me joy? Did it make me feel sad? Did it make me feel like I want to be a different person? Well, then, yes, I have achieved my goal. Goal unlocked 101.
Okay, got it. And you have been working for a lot of years now, but it was, I think, Sacred Games that gave you that much deserved attention, and a lot of people sort of started knowing you and seeing you in a different light. I think makers also. Now, you tell me, how did that change the game for you?
And you said it already. Like they noticed me, they gave me more work, then I did more work, then I got more work, then I did more work, then I got more work, I did more work. So it's been like a game of, climbing that ladder. And then I realized that some, of the steps are far apart and some steps are really close to each other. Like when you're climbing up your stairs, you will see when you're in a flow, you will climb 3 steps. But when you're tired, you will climb one step. So it depends on how your energy is and how you feel at that moment. You will climb the career, the ladder of your career as well. And I think that's what's noticeable, and that's what everyone needs to do. Not beat themselves up when things are not going well, and not live, in this illusion that everything's going to be great all the time. Like I want to make sure that this experience, whatever it is, post foundation releases, whatever new opportunities it brings to me, whatever happened in the past, all of this is an experience. If I start believing everything that I'm doing, I will never be able to move forward. I never wanted to believe that cuckoo is like the best thing that I have done in my life. How will I better what I know already?
Yeah, true. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Kubbra, for joining in. All the very best for all your future projects. It was great chatting with you.
I appreciate you. Bye.